really wanted growers to understand is how calibrating their equipment is not only good for application practices, it's good for their bottom line. It really makes a difference how the nozzle output is measured, and the only way with air blast sprayers that can truly be accurately measured is with a piece of equipment that George Hamilton from the University of New Hampshire demonstrated to us in 2011. I'm going to let him talk about it because he was the original person who got this through a grant and worked with his growers, so he has a better perspective from the grower standpoint.
Well, with an air blast sprayer, you have several different nozzles on a radius of the boom. So what we needed was something to catch or attach onto the nozzles themselves and flow into a catching device or a cylinder, measure cylinder. And this is what this device does. And what is nice about it is the devices that we have in Penn State and New Hampshire have 10 of these catching devices, so we can do 10 nozzles at a time. And that way we can see the whole manifold of what each individual nozzle is putting out and calculate what the total amount would be over a minute period. And then taking our row distances between individual rows, we can figure out how many feet it would take to cover an acre, and knowing the speed of the tractor, calculate mathematically what their rate per acre is to get a more exacting rate versus saying, well, I know it's spraying behind me and I think this is 5 acres, and oh, okay, that might be 40 gallons. This way we have an actual rate that they can use in calculating what they're applying and being more exact. Before we're putting on rates of 8 pounds per acre, now we're putting on 2 ounces.
So it's even more important.
It's more important because we can have a mistake a lot easier with smaller amounts.
And I'm a very visual person. The thing I like about this calculation unit and this calibration unit is you can very clearly see this nozzle is putting out this much, this nozzle is putting out the same, the next nozzle is putting out the same. Holy man, this nozzle is putting out twice as much. Obviously, that nozzle has been worn and needs to be replaced. You keep going down and you get one that's down and only is putting out a small amount, you know that nozzle is probably clogged. And you need to take it out of there and not blow on it, but get some air into it and blow that air out, or blow the clog out. And again, a lot of times growers would use a paper clip or something that would do more damage. And then once we do that, we just don't assume it's okay. We go back in and rerun it, because then we see, okay, we got enough of that clog out. It's good. We put that new sprayer nozzle in. What's wrong with it? It's even putting more out. There has been the case where right out of the bag we thought we had the correct number on the nozzle, and it was the wrong nozzle put in the wrong bag, and it was too much output. We wouldn't have known that if we hadn't rerun it.
So this is trying to help the farmer's bottom line of making sure they're applying the correct amount and making sure that the right manifold is putting out the same as the left manifold. And we have seen a couple cases where a crink in a plumbing or a hole in the plumbing underneath where you would never see it because you're sitting on the tractor, and we've been able to make those changes accordingly. So
to get a real world example in, one grower who estimated that he saved 10%, we went to the tree fruit guide. It showed it would have cost him $150 an acre. So it's easy to do the math when you start multiplying that out by large acreages and multiple sprays that are required to produce the quality of apples that are first quality and not processing apples.